According to court records, the 19-year-old suspect came to this house behind me under the false pretense of wanting to get a tattoo done by the victim. Instead, a robbery and shooting took place, and police do not think the suspect acted alone. Wanting the wings, police say that text message requesting a tattoo design led to a fatal botched robbery in October 2024 at a home-based tattoo business on Oxford Street. Witnesses heard 38-year-old David Young yell, "I don't have anything," before he was shot 4 times. Police say phone records and text messages allowed 19-year-old Zion Johnson to be charged with taking part in that robbery and murder. According to court records, Johnson admitted she arranged the tattoo appointment and went to the victim's home with another male suspect, but insisted she was unarmed, and the second suspect is the one who actually did the shooting. Finally, Johnson is set to make her initial court hearing on Friday. In the meantime, she's being held without bond pending trial. Jesse Wells, Fox 59 News.
The air was thick with the smell of desperation. It clung to the walls, seeped into the furniture, and wrapped itself around Anya like a suffocating blanket. The eviction notice lay crumpled on the floor, a stark testament to her dwindling options. Each word on that paper felt like a nail in the coffin of her hopes. Her name was Anya, and her life was unraveling. Every day seemed to bring a new challenge, a new hurdle that seemed insurmountable.
Leo, I don't know what to do anymore. Her voice trembled as she spoke, the weight of her words heavy with uncertainty.
A single mother, she stared out at the bleak cityscape. Her 6-year-old son, Leo, an innocent silhouette against the fading light. The city, once full of promise, now seemed like a labyrinth of despair. His laughter, once her solace, now echoed the crushing weight of her responsibility. It was a bittersweet symphony that played in the background of her troubled mind. Anya had tried everything, 2 minimum-wage jobs, pawning her grandmother's necklace, even swallowing her pride for government assistance. Each effort felt like a drop in an ocean of need, but life had a way of piling on, each setback a brick in the wall closing in around her. The more she struggled, the tighter the walls seemed to press. Then came the whisper, a dark siren song from the depths of despair. A quick way to make money, enough to silence the wolves at the door. It was a temptation that gnawed at her resolve. The thought gnawed at her conscience, a seed of darkness taking root in the fertile ground of desperation. It was a dangerous path, but the allure of a solution was strong.
Could I? Should I? Her mind raced with questions, each one more troubling than the last.
Anya's fingers tightened around Leo's worn teddy bear, her heart a war zone of fear and fierce love. The bear, a symbol of innocence, now felt like a lifeline. One wrong decision could cost her everything, but inaction could cost them their lives. The stakes had never been higher. It was in the stillness of that night, with Leo sleeping soundly beside her, that Anya made her choice. The quiet gave her the clarity she needed. The weight of it felt heavy, like a physical burden settling upon her shoulders. It was a decision that would change everything. She knew there was no turning back. The die was cast. Anya's resolve hardened, her path set, and the catalyst for change ignited within her. The world of crime, once a distant horror story, became Anya's grim reality. She had always heard tales of the underworld, whispered in hushed tones, but never imagined she would be part of it. She found herself drawn into a shadowy underworld, a place where desperation was currency and trust a dangerous luxury. Every corner she turned, every shadow she passed, seemed to whisper secrets of survival and betrayal. Her mentor was a woman named Raven, a hardened criminal with eyes that held the cold glint of steel. Raven was a figure of both fear and respect, a master of manipulation and strategy. Raven saw potential in Anya's desperation, a tool to be honed for her own nefarious purposes. She believed that Anya's raw emotions could be shaped into a weapon of precision.
What do I need to do?
Under Raven's tutelage, Anya learned the art of deception, the intricate dance of planning and execution. She was taught to read people, to anticipate their moves, and to exploit their weaknesses. Their target was a high-end jewelry store, a glittering den of opulence that mocked Anya's poverty. The jewels inside represented a life she could never have, a stark contrast to her harsh reality. The plan was intricate, a symphony of synchronized movements designed to exploit security flaws and human error. Every member of the team had a role, each step choreographed to perfection. Every detail was scrutinized, every possible outcome meticulously accounted for. They left nothing to chance, knowing that one mistake could mean disaster. As the day of the robbery approached, Anya felt a chilling sense of detachment. It was as if she were living someone else's life, her actions no longer her own. It was as if she were watching herself from a distance, her actions dictated by a force beyond her control. The person she saw in the mirror was a stranger, a shadow of her former self. The fear was still there, a knot of anxiety in her stomach, but it was overshadowed by a cold, steely resolve. She knew that failure was not an option, that she had to succeed no matter the cost. She had crossed the Rubicon. There was no turning back. Anya was now a part of this world, a player in a dangerous game where the stakes were life and death. The night of the robbery was a blur of adrenaline and fear, a chaotic dance of shadows. Anya moved with a precision that belied her lack of experience, her every action a testament to Raven's meticulous tutelage. The air crackled with tension as they breached security, their movements swift and silent like shadows. Diamonds glittered under the harsh glare of the security lights, a king's ransom within their grasp, almost tangible. But just as they were about to make their escape, everything went horribly wrong. A silent alarm, triggered by a careless mistake, shattered the tense silence like glass. Panic flared, hot and bright, as sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder.
What do we do now?
Raven, her eyes cold and calculating, shoved a gun into Anya's trembling hand.
Get them off our tail. I'll handle the rest.
Before Anya could react, Raven had vanished through a back exit, leaving her alone to face the approaching sirens. Betrayal cut deep, a searing pain that rivaled the fear coursing through her veins, leaving her paralyzed. The roar of engines filled the night, the red and blue lights of police cruisers reflecting off the glass storefronts. The city was alive with chaos, a stark contrast to the eerie silence that had blanketed it just moments before. The tension in the air was palpable, a silent scream that echoed through the empty streets. Anya, her heart pounding against her ribs, sprinted through the deserted streets, the stolen jewels weighing heavily in her bag. Each step felt like a lifetime, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she pushed herself to keep moving. The weight of her actions bore down on her, but she couldn't afford to stop. The adrenaline fueled her flight, but despair nipped at her heels. She could feel the cold fingers of fear wrapping around her heart, threatening to pull her into the abyss. Yet she pressed on, driven by a force stronger than fear. She could hear the shouts of pursuing officers, their footsteps echoing her own. The sound was a constant reminder of the danger that lurked just behind her, a relentless force that sought to drag her back into the darkness. The city lights blurred into streaks of color as she dodged through alleyways and cut across traffic, the wail of sirens her constant, terrifying companion. The world around her seemed to dissolve into a chaotic swirl of light and sound, but she kept her focus, her mind set on one goal. Each breath was a victory, each step closer to freedom, but the city felt like a labyrinth designed to trap her. The narrow alleyways twisted and turned, each corner hiding potential danger. She had to stay sharp, had to outthink her pursuers. Anya's escape was a desperate gamble, a high-stakes game of cat and mouse with the law. Every decision, every turn she took could mean the difference between freedom and capture. The stakes had never been higher.
I have to make it back to Leo. I can't fail him. Her whispered words were a mantra, a desperate plea to the universe. She couldn't let him down. Not after everything they had been through.
She knew the odds were stacked against her, but giving up wasn't an option. Determination etched into her features. She pushed forward, her mind racing with thoughts of Leo and the life they could have. Not with Leo's face, his innocent eyes burned into her memory. The image of his smile, the sound of his laughter were the beacons guiding her through the darkness. She had to escape, had to make it back to him, even if it meant outrunning the ghosts of her past and the long arm of the law. Her resolve was unbreakable, her spirit unyielding. The night was her adversary, but she was determined to emerge victorious.